seems this guy he seems to have stealing in his habit too, because I remember how I got to meet this guy. That brings reason for doubt. Now, if such thing has never happened, you do not have reason to doubt. That is, if we are looking at it in a layman's, in a common communal circumstances. So it is neither here nor there. But if there are reasons to doubt, strong reasons to doubt, you will not blame people for asking. Now, he who alleges must prove. Now, how do you prove when it comes to paternity? It is not just by word of mouth. There are a lot of things in play. Number one, do you want to cast an aspersion on that baby, that there is dispute over the baby's paternity? And you, as a parent, and it did not happen when the baby is an adult or when the baby is a teenager. It happened when the baby was less than 1 year old, an infant. Therefore, the responsibility is on the parents to ensure that such doubt is laid to rest, because you don't know what could happen in future. You might not do it now. What if the father dies? What if the mother dies? And the aspersion continues. That child will be stigmatized for life within the family, that might deprive him of some rights or might be accusing him. Of course, if you go to court, there are laws that also support certain things. So for the sake of an infant, it is a responsibility. There is law and there is place of morality and responsibility. It is the responsibility of a parent to say, okay, this noise is too much. Let me do it and, rest all doubt. Because people always say it is the mother that knows the father of a child. So if the mother knows the father of the child and people are doubting it, if you know it's the father, what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. Oh yeah, go and do it. And when you do it, you can now sue those people for defamation of character. You can sue them for cyberbullying because they've been doing this thing and they just want to drag your name. Do it. When you do it, it now creates a basis for you to deal with them. But the first thing you must do is to make sure that you secure that child and protect that child, because the responsibility of parents or guardian is to protect the infant. I hope I make sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I buttress that point?
Pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Aristocrat, for that point. Then there was a statement you said Baba needs to provide, as in, evidence, for him to be able to put that DNA request out there. Based on the testimony of the people who were in the car, like one of the people who was in the car where they had fight, I think Prime Boy, stated that Mohbad had issue with Wunmi concerning the child's paternity. So Baba can use that. Another one, Baba also testified that Mohbad has confided in him. That's another person, that's another point. Then I want to ask one question from Senator, but I think I'm sure he has. Senator. Hello, Senator.
Yeah, ma'am.
You're used to, I think, Chairman has made me know how to ask this kind of question now. Have you spoken to Wunmi before? Do you relate? Have you asked her questions one-on-one? Have you discussed?
Just like the way you are here is where I am. I only come here to probably learn and analyze issue based on general observation.
Okay. So then I'm going to also buttress. I'm also going to treat the part where you were telling what's his name, Papariano, about the police asking for DNA. I'll buttress that part. But back to what I was saying. First of all, does Mohbad, you said the Mohbad accepts the child and all that. You were asking a valuable question. But we don't know, because one thing is that they said there was no birth certificate, that Wunmi had the child in Ile-Alagbo. Ile-Alagbo issued a birth certificate. If Ile-Alagbo had issued a birth certificate, you would have Mohbad signing. I've been saying, please, can you mute yourself? Sorry. That then you can say, okay, Mohbad has proved to you people, or to the world, to us, even the father, to the child, that this is my son. But there is no certificate. Back to the part where we talked about where you confronted what's this person Papariano about the police asking. I kept saying it. First thing, for homicide case, DNA is important. One thing they should have done, Mohbad's house that very day, that even as Baba Mohbad went to the police station to complain, the place should have been sealed up ASAP. You get me? Then DNA is collected from everybody, including the child. That's where the child will still come into place. Plus the mother, plus everyone that were present there. A DNA sample should have been taken. And at that point, you can know how or what happened to Mohbad. Every object, you carry them for sample. You take them for the DNA test to be able to know what happened. This is an homicide case. That's why I keep saying DNA is important. Then you can now treat, was this person that when they find a fingerprint, then you tell us why you have a fingerprint to this object and that was able to detect that this object was what killed Mohbad. Or if it was this person's hand, anybody that touched Mohbad at that moment, they are all guilty. Then we're able to pick who did the killing. So now you see why DNA is important. Paternity, when you want to talk about paternity, it's important because now we've all discussed about this marriage thing. And as it is, I'm sorry, Wunmi might not get anything because even one of the lovers of Wunmi just confirmed in the comment section that Mohbad didn't write any will to Wunmi. You understand that now? No will was written to Wunmi. So she has cleared that. That's my mom, MY mommy. Also, she was confirming it that, Mohbad didn't will her anything. So in a way, she still falls back to the father-in-law. So DNA, in both ways, they are very, very important. And
Can I just respond? Can I tell you a response to one or two of what you said? Hello?
Senator, can I tell you something?
No, sir, hold on, sir. Before I forget
Do you know that DNA was a contest?
Hold on, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Let me say this. See, when it comes to like allegations, like probably you said, Prime Boy said, Mohbad said, this may not be my child. And number two, that probably Mohbad confided in his dad that probably this is not, I'm doubting this child. When it comes to issue of courts, the court will ask for evidence. That do you have the voice, or do you have where he said it? Do you have something like facts that we can lay to decide the case?
Senator,
please, I'm begging you, please, sir. I will keep quiet. So, in this, the thing is, when we are discussing this case, we should also say what will help this case out. In this regard, for me, I'm learning that in case I have similar case like this, is if my son is talking to me that, hey, dad, this is my wife, I think I don't trust him. All I will just do is to put an audio and record him for future stuff. So what we are also doing, we're also learning for ourselves because similar case can happen in the future for us. So for me, if I have a son who has a bad wife and he is talking to me, I know I'm going to use that thing against in the future or in the court of law. I'm going to put in okay, can you put this in writing or show the saw in audio, or can I video you and say it and I'll keep it for you, my son. So if anything happens, I can present that as an evidence that he actually said it. That's number one.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, Senator, you got something wrong.
In which constitution in Nigerian law that says that you must always carry recorder or video in this constitution? Before technology came to Nigeria, it's eyewitness. So are you trying to tell me that we are going to abolish eyewitness? If there is no video, if there is no camera, there is no eyewitness. What are you trying to say?
Okay, sir. If I have been the
contest over this issue.
If I conspire with somebody to lay allegation against
if
I conspire with somebody to lay allegation against you, because that person is my witness, does that mean the person is right? If I conspire against
all the contests, there's a lot of. Listen, remember, Prime Boy is not alone in that car. Baba was not alone. There's a lot of them there. They will still say the same thing. So don't bring issue of video or recording.
Spending said the same thing. And
So what are you talking to? What are you trying to say? Before technology come to Nigeria, we don't have eyewitness. Is it not evidence on the floor? So you try to confuse people here that you must carry video.
I'm not confusing. Please don't
No,
don't
no, you
into a fight
by
for
what you
please.
just said now. Listen,
Please, in
they are
Nigerian
very
court of
clever.
today, I know if they said example, if they say Yaya Bello steals, the court will say, where is your evidence? Do you have witness?
There's a lot of evidence we are talking about. We are talking about the eyewitness.
That's about
Eyewitness.
Even the eyewitness
Eyewitness is
will
fine.
bring
That is the
evidence.
board of contention here.
Hold on,
This
sir.
is why they must do DNA.
I am not
That
talking
is the
about
reason why,
DNA.
because we are talking about technology.
We are talking about witness.
Therefore just came to Nigeria. It's not quite long. So we are trying to tell me that during the time before the cell phone, we don't have eyewitness. People don't come and testify. When did the Nigerian government change the constitution? When did they change that you always come with evidence from video or camera? When did that one happen? My man, listen, there's no baby here.
No, I have never called anybody a baby. I am dealing with Nigerian law.
All right, hold on. Aristocrat wants to give us some explanation as regards that.
Senator, there are many types of witnesses. There are human witnesses, there are material witnesses, and they are all valid. Now, human witnesses that are mostly valid are the one direct witnesses, not third party. First witness, for example, a vehicle moving hits someone that crossed the road. That person that witnesses is an eyewitness. It doesn't need a video, it doesn't need an audio. He's an eyewitness because he was there, he witnessed it. When it gets to law and they will say, oh, it is this person that is this person, who is an eyewitness there? That is what they will ask. Because if you now say you have a video, it means it was premeditated. It is something that happened. Now, let's go back to the fact that we are talking about. Baba Mohbad said his son told him in his discussion that he doubts the paternity. Number one, nobody can doubt that because he's a father to son. The son did not come and say, Daddy, you record what I'm saying. Even what you recorded, when you get to court, if it does not conform with the 2015 Evidence Act, it will be thrown out because it can't be modulated. If it is video, they'll be asking you many questions. What kind of camera did you use? What kind of audio device did you use? Where is this person's face? They need to check. In the time of AI, they also need to check. So even in Nigerian jurisprudence currently, it is physical human witness that is most valuable because it cannot be manipulated. Why? That person swore. That person sworn under the oath that the evidence I'm giving are true. And if the person lies, the person will go to jail. That is the reason people have to swear an oath in court. Because if anyway they found out that a statement is wrong, something is wrong, and you do not correct it, you will go to jail. So they don't need to bother for you to lie. You will go to jail. Now, between father and son, he has exercised it. The father also used an event to buttress that point when he was talking about the plant setter. Thirdly, the father also used what people were saying around. What people were saying around. Gbogbo èèyàn sọ pé aṣẹ́wó lọmọ yìí, aṣẹ́wó lọmọ yìí. Àwọn ará àdúgbò ń sọ, bàbá dẹ̀ ń fetí ẹ̀ gbọ́ nígbà tí òun ṣe wèrè. When he's not mad. These are part of the evidence the papa will say, and court cannot rule it out. Now, the reason why we have court is when you have situations that are very, very, difficult. Court will come and be asking for evidence. Once those evidences are admissible, they are admissible. Nobody can, you can't write it out. Even the recording you are saying, it is easy to discredit any form of other non-human material. For example, you came and say it's the one that signed this document. They'll give it to forensic. If forensic sees an error, they will cancel that document. It's no more an evidence. You use a video, court will tell you what kind of video did you use. Because it comes with a lot of things. And if it does not align with those regulations, they throw it away. So what are you going to do? But God believes in human being because you've sworn an oath. And if you mess up, they go jail. Now in your head, you take career. But a lawyer can also discredit a witness. And that is why they like it more. Someone came and tell you a story. They are now asking questions. Those questions, if you are able to ask it well and it is reasonable, they will say, okay, this evidence is correct. It shows the person really, really cared what it is. That is the best way I can end. Thank you very much.
Okay, so what about the validity of CCTV footage, Aristocrat?
Now, CCTV is valid. Why? Because you came with the raw. It is the raw data they will ask for. They will not ask you for recorded. Let me give us a good example. In this Nigeria presidential election, a lady came and said she videoed the INEC chairman saying they are going to release results live every day. She now came to court with a video, and the judge or one of the lawyers of the defendant, that is that of the APC and the INEC, asked her a simple question and said, this video you bought is from where? He said she is the reporter of AIT, African Independent Television. He said, good. This material you bought, where did you put the video? She said it was in a flash. Is it a flash that you used to record the man live? He said, no, I went to the office and they upload it online. When they upload, and I now uploaded it from our YouTube page. Cancelled. Why? It is not the raw material. What you are downloading for us might have been manipulated. If you go and say, this thing I brought for you, this is the CD from the library of AIT. This is the CD that they use, the real cassette inside the camera that they use to record the man. It is unaudited, nothing like that. They will say, okay, oh yeah, play it. They will play it, they will see that it's unedited. They will now say, what timeline? You give them the timeline. Then they can accept that. Because in the technology world, there is a lot of manipulation. So you went online to download something that the person that uploaded it would have edited or manipulated. You now came to court that this is not your evidence. The court ruled it out because that is Evidence Act of 2015. Because the court is not stupid. The court also understands that there is manipulation. Now let's talk about this time and age of AI. They can put your picture up. They will say you are the one talking. It is your voice. It is everything. And it is not you. So how can you say it is true? Court is not stupid, and that is why court relies more on living witness, but with precautions. And the lawyers have the right to interpret, to interpret and also cross-examine that witness. If the witness passes all the questions, I will say, okay, my lord, we accept this witness. No wala. You understand what I mean? Thank you very much.
Okay, Senator, do you see the reason why Baba Mohbad came up with DNA? Because he was alarmed. It's not his own making. All the things are pointing in one direction. He has evidence. So he cannot deny him to know the paternity of his grandson. He has evidence enough to say, no, many people are pointing fingers in this direction. I need DNA. You cannot deny him. Do you see the reason why? It's not only him that confess. Many people give testimony regarding DNA. So you see, he has 100% right to know the paternity of his grandson. So we don't have to come up here to start, be logical in something that is open. It doesn't make sense.
What about that? what I want to
I'm
ask.
not happy when somebody, an elderly man, will be arguing for something that is open.
No vex, boss. Sorry. What I want to ask Aristocrat a question, sir. In the event that a DNA test is conducted and it is confirmed that Liam is not Mohbad's son, what is the next thing that Baba Mohbad can or should do, in your opinion?
Well, you see, in this case, Mohbad did not leave any will, which means is intestate. His will is in a state of intestate, which means there is no will regarding. On the norms, what they would have expected is when we talk about next of kin don't necessarily mean you can inherit the person, but it is assumed in Nigeria law that a next of kin is blood related, which could be your son, your wife, your parents, or your brothers, blood related. So someone that is blood related can help to administer. In this case, if the boy is not the son, will Wumi come with an evidence or during the argument? Because the court still has to decide in this case. This case is really a case for the court, because the court first must establish that the grandfather, in Nigerian law, it has not really happened, that a grandfather can demand for the paternity of the child, because what was stated in the law was kind of ambiguous. Now, if that is determined and they carry that out, if the defendant, that is Wumi now, with her counsel, did not say Liam was adopted in all the proceedings and came with an evidence that he was adopted, you understand, then it will be assumed that while Mohbad was alive, the wife lied to him, deceived him that he is the father of that child, which is a regular thing in paternity dispute. People don't pursue it. But let me leave that for another day. Now, it is that assumed under law that the child is not entitled, because you kind of want to give someone what the person do not deserve. Under lie, under pretense, that is 419, under fraud, because it means the mother lied to the father, not the child now, lied to the father that the child is his son. And it is a criminal offense for you to use the name of someone else to be calling someone else, knowing that you've lied. For example, Lion King have a child that is from Aristocrat, and the wife is now calling the child Baby Lion Aristocrat, and it's Lion King child. And Aristocrat is saying, Lion King's wife had a child, and the child is by Aristocrat. Now, Lion King's wife knew, and Lion King's wife went ahead to be calling that child and collected documents in that child's name and put King there instead of Aristocrat. Number one, she has committed perjury. Perjury because she's lying. Now, that is punishable. So we will now come back and say it is a premeditated act, that knowing that the child is not for this guy, but she deceived the guy. And what is the motive? The motive is to make sure that the man fathered the child, that in future the child can lay claim to his estate. That is a criminal offense. Therefore, the child will not have right, if it is established, to that man's property. But as the mother, as the wife, she can be compensated because they've lived together as partners or husband and wife. Even a living lover can inherit some aspect of someone's estate. They can compensate and say, because you've toyed with him, when he comes back from work, you cook for him. When he's sick, you take him to the hospital. When he wants to toy, you are the one that provides the toy for him. you give him some sense of stability. Okay, you can give her X in his will to compensate her. That might be the only thing.
Sorry, sir. Maybe you can add this to your question. You can add it to. I just want to ask Aristocrat. Sorry, sir. So I can add it to your response. What if the child comes out to be Mohbad's son? What's next? Number one.
Yes.
That's number one. Then number two, the issue of DNA. Is it to determine who is the heir to the inheritance, or to determine who by Mohbad? Which one are there? What is exactly?
That is where I'm coming. That is where I'm coming to. That is where I want to help Aristo. If the DNA says that that child is not Mohbad,
no, it is.
What
has already
the answer, if he says, I'm coming. If he says, I'm coming. I'm coming to an answer. I'm coming to an answer. If he says that child is not for Mohbad, that is the alarm we are looking for. Wunmi is going straight to gallows, because the result will be that she will intentionally kill Mohbad because of that agreement. She's going straight to death sentence. I'm very sorry to review this here.
No.
Okay, so
I'm coming. Let me finish. I'm coming to that part we are going to. If that child is not for Wunmi, is not for Mohbad, that means all these things we are looking for, the answer is already there. But if that child is Mohbad's son, Wunmi can never sue Papa Mohbad, because it is what he had. No court will grant her that, because she wanted to make sure, because of the rumor, she can never win that case. She cannot even think, the lawyer will not even allow her to sue Papa Mohbad. They will doubt it. But if that child is not for Mohbad, believe me, Wunmi is death sentence.
We have already said
Senator.
I'm only just asking that if it is for Mohbad, what is the way forward to now know why him?
Senator.
If it's for Mohbad, we continue investigating the cause of his death. But remember, right now we are looking into what kills Mohbad, and it's part of the investigation. This DNA is part. We people don't know. This DNA is part of the investigation.
Okay, number two, is the DNA exactly for heirs to the inheritance, or to determine what by him? Which one are there? Which one is the main?
All those things is investigation.
Senator, sorry, Aristocrat, can you shed light on those two questions raised by Senator?
All right, this is what I'm going to say. Let me end that of number one, which was first asked, that if the child is not, the part B of it is this. You see, in Nigeria, paternity fraud is not a crime yet. There is no law for it. But, you see, in court of law, when you go to the court of law, it is your prayer to the court that court will grant you. If in the event that your prayer is being granted, there are crimes being established. Now, it is now your duty, if it is a crime that is felony, that can be prosecuted by the state, it is now your duty to make a formal report to the police, and report to the police that this person committed this crime, this is how it is. And police will now invite the person or arrest the person, interrogate and investigate the matter, and establish if the person have committed a crime, and prosecute the person criminally. Therefore, in this case, if the child is not that of Mohbad, number one, the child will not have rights to his estate. That is established. The family now needs to make a formal complaint to the prosecuting authority, which is the police, that this person, they will write a petition and say this person, committed this crime, he brought another child to another man in the hope to take over his wealth, and the man died. Now, we don't know if it is the reason that he killed him, but we have established that the child is not it. Now we suspect that the man was killed because of this paternity. So, Mr. Police, one, we have three prayers. Number one, you need to apprehend this person and prosecute this person for perjury, for lying, for under 419, whatever, for fraud. That is.
Sir, you're not answering my question. We have already settled if it is
let
not.
Me finish.
Let me finish. More emphasis on it. Let's go to if it is.
Senator, why are you rushing now?
No, you have already answered. You are just.
Are you learning or you are not learning? You are
repeating. You have already known if it is not. It is settled. What if he is? That's what I want to learn.
Senator, if you want me to answer your question, if you want someone to answer a question for you, you don't tell the person how the person is going to answer you.
If you're not addressing my question, I will tell you you're not addressing what I ask.
Now,
I've already learned he is not.
I just told you.
I want to know if
when
he is.
I started, I said I want to finish the part of the first person that asked me a question because I have not finished before I come to your own. And I believe when I finish, you should understand. Now, as I was saying to the first question, now, if they report the case to the police can now take that 100 yards and prosecute the person. But going to court and getting DNA, yes or no, does not mean that person will be prosecuted because you did not go to court to prosecute the person. That is one part, if the child is not. Now, in case that the case came out contrary to what went to court, it means that child has a right, legitimate right, to inherit the father's estate. That is what it clearly means. And it also means that the child going forward should not be referred to or any kind of aspersion cast on the child to say he is not a legitimate child. So the family will have to accept the child and everything moves on. Now, what is the other question now? Is the DNA to ascertain what killed Mohbad? Now, the father is going to court for 2 reasons, which the police will take note of. To go to court to ascertain if the child is part of his family, for him to accept him. On the other side, when it comes to crime, it is motive that you are looking for. If, in the course of the investigation, police now believe that if there is a paternity fraud and the father of the deceased has been complaining that the child is not the son to his son, then there is need for them to look at it as a motive of committing crime. So in this case, if police want to look at paternity as motive, it is police that ought to conduct that paternity, not the family, because it will go to a criminal procedure to say we want to know this paternity because we want to establish this motive. But in this case, it is the family that is going through the civil way want to establish that. So it's 2 different things. So the paternity matter is a 2-edged sword. It is 1, to establish legitimacy of the baby, and 2, to possibly establish motive for committing a murder. So if it is plus, if it is minus, they will take it up from there. I guess I've answered the question.
Aristocrat.
Yeah.
That motive, I want to also dive in a bit to establish it. Why would Wunmi want to kill Mohbad on the paternity?
Now, it is now the responsibility. You see, if it is now established or is used as a motive because of the failure of the paternity now, police will now come and begin to go back. You see, police are not spirits. They look at facts too. They will now begin to go back and begin to establish a number of things. From the witnesses, there was establishment that the 2 of them fight. On what? From the testimony of 2 of the witnesses at the scene, they established that the paternity of the child or infidelity came to play. If it came to play, Could it be that after leaving the show, getting back home, the argument, the conflict persists? And when it persisted, could it be that emotion was in play, anger was in play, and accident happened? And when accident happened, someone sustained injury, and they now try to cover it up. It will now go back for us to be talking about, oh, the Baba said he saw blood, this and that. Then we begin to ask, that is now the job of the police. Begin to interrogate all those things and see if that motive, it could be a motive of paternity fraud that led to his death. And it could now be established, are you the only one that committed this? How did it happen? Was it pushed? What, a lot of questions will come. So it will change the direction of the investigation, of looking at an external person and begin to look inward to say who was with him in his room. It was established that they were arguing, there was conflict, etc. So then police can take that up, understanding that it could be a motive for murder.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. I want to say something.
Are
you sure police have not done investigation? Because I remember some times ago, the police spoke to the press and were telling us this and this and that, and what happened, a vivid report of stuff. Do you think the police can contradict themselves and say, because they said they have done their investigation, do you not think that the police can come out again to contradict that, hey, the first information we did, I think we were wrong, we didn't cover it all. Now we are seeing fresh reasons for us to now investigate further? Or do you think they will hand it over to the coroner inquest report and ask everybody to go to court to go and contest the report?
Okay, before the Socrates answers that, I just want to say, in my own opinion, I think the police report was interrogation gleaned from witnesses and eyewitnesses, and that it is not a full investigation. That's just my take before aristocrats can comment.
All right, this is what I will say. You see, Senator, you've answered your question. You said, am I sure that police have not investigated? I am not sure, because I am not the IPO, neither am I a police. And why we can also infer that they've not done the investigation is the event of things in September. If police is actually looking into the motive of paternity fraud, police would have conducted a DNA test. If it's a motive, they don't have to go to court. All they need is to get court injunction to do it, because it's a lead for their investigation. If that is not done, it means they are not thinking about it, because you cannot do what you are not thinking about. So as a public looking outside, and they've not come out after their preliminary report. Now, let us get something right. What is a preliminary report? Preliminary means not total, not definite. All what we are able to scrabble now, what we've just heard now, this is the report. Now, finality of those reports, we go into full-scale investigation. Now, preliminary report does not necessarily mean that is the verdict, because at that stage, they only listen to people. They've not done any form of investigation. It is just interrogation, collecting data. When you collect data, analyze it just like that, you now delve into it. You now begin to plan a dashboard and begin to put the motive 1, motive 2, motive 3, motive 5, and begin to follow those motives and see where it leads you to, and see the connectivity. It is after that that they will now come with a final result. Now, the inquest is a judicial investigation. It is still an investigation, the inquest. So it is an opportunity for the judiciary in their own way to question people by placing them under oath and tell us what happened. And they will document those things, and they will analyze it, and they will come with the report. There are other rooms of finding out cause of death aside medical reports. So it is still from all these things, they will now come with the finality. So that, for me, is the position of things. But if police, as of today, have not established paternity fraud as a motive, it means they are not looking at it. If they are looking at it, they will have gone in that line. Now, they were, and from information that we got, let's take what Prime Boy did. Prime Boy wrote a petition against Wumi and the IPO, ASP Muhammad, that they tried to coerce him to accept a knife or dagger as an object of the crime, that he used that knife. And because he's certain that he did not do such thing, he has petitioned the guy. And I said that is an audacity on his part. It now means that instead of police to look into the motive of paternity, they were looking, the IPO, because they are the main people responsible, they were looking into the motive of someone using a knife on him. It shows where that direction was going. So we can come as a public to infer that they are not looking at that motive. If they are, they will have done those things that will lead them to that. So we cannot say for certain, but we can infer by their attitude that they are not looking at paternity fraud as a motive. I hope I've been able to explain that.
Okay, lastly, is the coroner report a sacrosanct, or do you think it is still subject to the court's
Senator, can I ask you a question? Senator,
no, hold on, sir. Let me talk to
I want to know who sent you.
Hold on, sir. Sorry, sir. Is the coroner final report sacrosanct on every party, or is not subject to the trial of the courts to give a final verdict?
Investigation court.
Now, there is something you need to understand. Under the law, there is nothing that is not contestable. Even the judgment of a magistrate court, you can contest it in a state high court. Even in a state high court, you can contest it in a federal court or state appeal court. And you can take it to federal appeal and you can take it to Supreme Court. So there is no finality. Now, everything is contestable. If you feel you have reason to contest it. Now, just like an investigation of a police officer, let us take the case of late Funshaw Williams. When Funshaw Williams was murdered in his apartment, and it was assumed that it was his guard that orchestrated that death, the cause of his death was established. How he was killed was established. The place of his death was established. The probable motive of the death was established because he was seen to be politically motivated. Now, but they did not establish a prima facie. They did not link it to say it is someone that did it. Yes, you know the cause of the death. You know that who did it. They were not able to do that. Now, they now took the guards that were on guard to court. And it was a state that was prosecuting that case. And the judge was telling the police, which is the prosecuting officer, the IPO, that, Ogbeni, you came with fact how this guy died. Who killed the guy? It is not any of these people because all your evidences did not show that they did it. But they can be at the scene of incident because their duty recommends so. They are his guards. So they will be in the compound. So you cannot say they are the one. Establish it. You must be able to come with fingerprint, etc., etc. This person, all of us are with together. He stepped into the house. When he came out, we stopped blood on his. You must be able to establish those things. Because it wasn't established, they lost that case. Now, that is to tell you that any evidence is arguable in the court of law. But it is the prosecuting team, that is the DPP, the Directorate of Public Prosecution, where you have the lawyers, that will see the report from the police, because police will submit it to them. They are the ones to go to court. And we see that, oh, we have a case, and this is tight. If they believe it's tight, they go ahead. The job of the defendant is to say they are not the one that committed the crime. And the job of their lawyers is to argue that in court. So we can't say in finality that when the result comes from an inquest, that means that those people the people you say committed the crime will go to jail. You must be able to link the crime to them. If it is not linked without evidence, you've lost your case. I hope I've answered that.
Very well, you answered it. I
Senator, you must pay.
like
You
the
must
part
pay
where
for
you
this
said they
lesson.
have to link it with an evidence. I think that summarizes every of our discussion. Thanks so much, sir.
Yeah.
Senator, I want to prove to you that your sister Wumi is guilty.
I don't know any fucking Wumi. I'm sorry to say. This is
Because you
my
came
first
up
time.
here with
Hold on,
logic.
sir. Sorry, sir. You don't know me. You understand? And it is the question I've been asking that have been engaging us here since. We all cannot think in one direction. That I don't know who is Team Wumi or no. I don't even have, this is my first time in my life joining a live program discussing this. I've never in my life done it. If I
Okay,
like God
thank you.
to punish me, I've never done it.
I'm sorry for
This is
that.
the
I'm
first
sorry
time
for
I'm doing it.
that
But the only thing is
because
that
your
what made
question.
me come to this platform was yesterday when I was listening to Papariano and I was seeing the intelligence way he was dissecting the issue. So I made a request and he accepted me. This is my first time in my life joining a program like this, discussing anything about Mohbad's death. I've never in my
Okay,
life done it.
sorry for
So
that.
what I
There's a
just
lot
do
of things
is
going on.
I
There's a lot
place
of things
devil's
going on
advocate
here.
most times. I play
They
devil's
send
advocate. If people are looking at this direction,
these people
I look
have
at this direction
teams.
so that we can think wide and expand our
Yes,
horizon.
it's
So that's what I'm
okay.
doing.
I understand. You know what is going on here? There's a lot of teams.
Senator,
They
this is the
send
first time
them
coming
to
here.
spy.
I think I saw you
They
like a
send
couple
them
of
to
times here.
spy
Senator.
This is
and
my
they do
second
logic
time. I said
here.
yesterday also, I made a request. That was my first time of joining a platform. And today is my
All right.
second time. I have never joined any platform to
Thank you
discuss
for
anything.
coming.
I've
Thank
never
you
made
for
any
coming.
comments
I
on any
think a lot of
platform.
people have had everything, how it goes. But what I'm trying to put here before I go, if that DNA proved that whether it proved that DNA proved Mohbad's son or not, they must still investigate the cause of his death. But that DNA might even give them a helping hand to know the source of Mohbad's death. If that DNA says that that child is not from Mohbad, that means the argument, the argument they did as they're going to the show, back to the home, to the house, resulted them touching each other and they finally buy this boy.
Now, you know what I just want us to do is that I don't want us to
You
put
people are talking about wealth. You people are
our
talking
link
about
to
property.
one
My mind is
aspect.
not going.
I want us to
Senator, can I
expand
finish?
that what
My
if
mind is not going to.
DNA
My
comes out
mind is not
positive?
going to
Yeah, I
What
get
if
you. I
My
get you,
mind is
Senator.
not
a
going
new
to
That's
that.
true.
investigation? So that's why I said
Yes.
we should expand our horizon. That we are looking at DNA number one, we are looking at bullying number two, we are looking at probably he has a high blood pressure history number three. We are looking at a lot of things, but we should not pin it to DNA because what if DNA now comes out positive? Are we now starting a new investigation again, like an assumption? So that's why I said that we should just think wide. That
Whether
DNA is part of our
There's
DNA.
there's
or
absolutely,
not
We should not
there
pin
is,
it. We should not pin it
they
to
will dig
DNA
it. They
alone.
will dig it
the
out.
main point,
Because
Don't
my
worry.
own
main
fear
point
is if this
the main,
DNA come out to
Senator,
be Mohbad's son, are we not starting a new clue on who killed him again?
Senator, the
So we should just
DNA,
spread it.
the DNA,
Senator, calm
Senator,
down.
the DNA
When they
is
go to High
just,
Court, you see question there. Do you know
Senator,
there's still
the,
investigation when the lawyers are asking questions?
Sir,
The
I know
investigation
all
goes
this. We
on
are
there.
just analyzing. We are just
Yes.
analysts
listen,
here.
Senator, listen, sir,
You
Yes.
the
Calm
understand?
down.
DNA, sir, listen, sir, the DNA is just a way, is one of 1,000 ways of determining the cause. Okay, it is one of the 1,000 ways, which leads to my next question that I wanted to ask Aristocrat. Sir, is there any way or manner in this case that you sense that there is a negligence by the police to investigate the cause of death of Mohbad? What are the instances of, is there any, do you sense negligence on part of the police? And what are the instances of negligence that you sense?
This is what I'm going to say. I will say from the beginning of this matter, the police failed the citizenry. Number one, we know the part people around Mohbad played in announcing his death. That is everything we all know. But the police, when the father said He said, let's go to police station to incident this death. Number one, the people around it, because he doesn't know the place, they took him far from where it happened. They took him to Oniru police station. Oniru is far from where he was. Oniru is around main Lekki. So you pass Lekki phase 1 and all that, and where he lives is around Aja, I guess. Now, they've jumped 1 or 2 police stations. However, it is still within the same command. Police formation has command. It's like 6. You have police posts. Those are small places where they put within estates. You will see like a police post. You have divisional police station. You have area command. You have state command. You have zonal command, and you have federal command. Now, for example, you are still within the same command, and they told you the address where they are coming from. It doesn't mean you cannot incident it. As a matter of fact, it is death. What if the person died on 3rd Mainland Bridge, and they were trying to bring the person down, and they saw the nearest police station, and they reported to you? Are you saying that you will tell them, go back to 3rd Mainland Bridge and be looking for a police station around that place? You can't do that. As police, your responsibility is irrespective of what it is. You know, incident it first, and now follow the procedure. It's like a crime. Robbery is going on. Police van is passing. It is for another state, but robbery is going on. Your job is to ensure that you foil that crime. That is the first thing, like first aid. After, you follow the procedure. Where they failed. Now, since they failed on that, they came to exhume the body 9 days after outcry. Immediately they exhumed the body, they told people that they were doing postmortem, whatever. But it seems police went to sleep on the matter. After they've interviewed people in the first month and they came with their preliminary report, it seems after the preliminary report that there is no form of investigation going on. What they then did was to focus on the 3 suspects in their custody, coercing them, intimidating them, and trying to make them say they are the one that committed the crime. And I'm taking this conclusion based on Prime Boy's petition against the IPO. It shows those things that happen. So the police actually do proper investigation? I don't believe so. Because after their preliminary report, did they come outside to give us another report that this is where the... For crying out loud, it's an homicide case, the way they tagged it. What have they achieved? They didn't achieve anything. After the preliminary report that took more than a month before they came out to tell us, people have to cry out to say, police, what have you done so far? Before they came out with that report. And they came with a report that is filled with a number of errors, talking about profusely bleeding, when profusely bleeding was not even established from the crime of sin, the way all the testimony have gone. So there are a lot of things. And we can then say that is police compromised, because we might not say for certain, but we can simply infer from all the events that we've seen. Is police compromised? If the IPO can be forcing a suspect to accept a weapon that he committed a crime, it means police was compromised, because that is not ethical. You understand what I'm saying? It is not ethical. If police could take donkey years to give the public that made an outcry for them to exhume the body, and you are not coming to the public to give them timely report on your investigation, it means the police have compromised. If the police, when Mohbad wrote a petition that with evidences, they were having a shoot, and someone came there with dangerous weapons, machete, etc., to the scene, and you did not even detain those people for going to some people's place of business to disrupt their business, to go with thug, to attack people. Is that what police should overlook? Did not even punish these people. that were on the petition did not punish the people that the video showed that they went there. And that thing was on social media everywhere. And police let them go since this young man wrote that petition. And those people came, they talked, they went, and they had the audacity to write a counter petition that the young man was owing them money. And police allowed it to go. It means police failed this young man even while he was alive because he felt unprotected. And who will you run to? It is police. So why won't we say police had failed or police was compromised? We will say this thing, and we have the right to say. If police feel they are not compromised, let them do the right thing. We will forget their mistake. We are not saying that it is by force that A or B must be the guilty person. But let us see the procedure. People have talked about telephone forensic. You don't need someone's phone to do his telephone forensic. All you need is the phone number. And all you need is to get a court order to go to the telephone provider and ask for data. And you analyze those data. It is done all over the world. And Nigerian police do that. You analyze audio, you analyze the text, you analyze whatever data thing that is there for you to see if it will link to this thing. They need to do it. Nobody ought to tell them. If they are doing it by now, I expected that police, irrespective of the judicial inquest, police investigation still continues. Judicial inquest does not stop your investigation. Because if you find any lead, you act on it. Are they acting on it? Haven't they gone to sleep as usual? This is the complaint of the citizenry. And we have the right to think otherwise. Because if they have acted normal,
kind of mental stuff that I wanted to shed light on. So in the back and forth between the justice camp and the anti-justice camp, what the anti-justice camp tend to always put forward is, as long as we do not have any evidence that Wunmi murdered Mohbad, then we cannot even regard eyewitnesses' evidence, or we cannot make inferences or read between the lines. So they use that to stop a lot of thought processes of those who are in the justice camp. They say if you don't have the evidence, you can infer. You can infer that Wunmi is a prime suspect. So, and meanwhile, the justice camp is like, she is a prime suspect. And the other camp are saying, as long as you don't have an evidence like that points to the fact that she did it, or read between the lines, or whatever, then you cannot use even eyewitness reports, and you cannot infer. So, if you get what I'm saying, what do you say as regards that? Because now they are saying that even if you have eyewitnesses talking about it, you can't really regard the report of eyewitnesses. I mean, they're making some statement to disregard eyewitness reports, and they say it's invalid. So what do you say to that?
This is what I'm going to say. You see, I laugh when people come with different positions. Number one, what do we need to establish? You see, there is something they call prejudicial in cases. When a matter is in court, if it's in the court of law, you see, it is not good for people to discuss it. But for the public can discuss it. Because if it is something of matter of interest, public can talk about it. It's the public opinion. And that is what you call public opinion. The job of the court and the prosecuting agent is to shape the public opinion by coming with the facts. There are cases where people assume at the end of the day, after a thorough investigation and court process, judicial process, it came out that it is C, not even B. Then the public will accept it because they now see the light. It is the job of these authorities to come and ensure that the public are given the facts and they stay with the fact. Now, this matter we are talking about is yet to get to the court of law. We are still at the investigative stage. Therefore, anybody can infer anything. It is the job of the prosecuting authority, that is the police, to do proper investigation. Listen to people, because as we are talking, police are also gathering information. That is how it should be. If people are not talking about it at all, it is a problem. You see, when police is doing investigation, they will say any member of the public that has information to help them to resolve this case should come forward and give them to, which means you needed the public to help you, because police are not spirits. They get information. So if the public do not, or the public did not, or the public is not discussing this matter, how will you get the information? In a state like Nigeria, where people are afraid that when you even report a crime to police, the person you reported will come after you when the person leaves the jail, or will send people after you and say, now you go report me. The question is, how did the person know? So the public itself have that phobia of reporting direct to the police. Now, if that is established, and that is not news in Nigeria, if that is established, then what should the police do? Police should listen when people are discussing, pick some points and explore those points. If they are not doing it, it means they are not working. Now, if some people now come and say you must see evidence, who is supposed to get evidence? Is it the public or the police? That is the question I'd like to give to them. If it is police that should give the evidence, let the police listen to what people are saying. Let them go and look for evidence. It is not the people that will look for evidence for police. The people will provide information to the police, and police will crystallize those information and bring it and make it evidence. So for those people saying, if you don't have evidences, people, the only thing I will tell people is they should use the word allege, presumed. You know, every word matters. You will not come out emphatically and say, oh, this person killed this person. No. If the person is still a suspect, you will say the person is a suspect in the murder of this person. You are not totally saying the person committed the crime, because a suspect is not guilty until proven so in a competent court of jurisprudence. So if a court do not pronounce someone guilty, you don't pronounce the person guilty. Even the police will not. It will say you are a suspect. Because at the end of the day, after the investigation, a suspect might not be a suspect. A suspect can even turn to a star witness for the state. Now, telling people to come with evidence is, I would say, it doesn't make sense. What we should be saying is, let's continue to discuss. Let's continue to look at things. As we are talking, let police continue to listen and analyze those facts that people are talking about, crystallize them, and get evidence that will make them to pick the criminal, so that an innocent person will not be punished for a crime they've not committed. So that the court, we will not waste the time of the court by taking people to court that at the end of the day, they will not be guilty. We should take people that at the end of the day, there are evidences and verifiable evidences or disputable evidences that will say they committed the crime. That is how we should work. In Western nations, they will be following criminal for years. When they gabble the criminal, when they interrogate you, you talk all your rubbish, they will now be coming with the evidences small by small and say, we saw this. They already have it. They have video. They have everything connecting you. This one, fine, is an homicide case. They didn't plan for it. But there are a lot of... Nigerian police is very good when it comes to homicide across Africa. So I don't expect less from them. But the way they've gone about this matter from beginning, it's giving, Yoruba will say, it is looking as if there is compromise somewhere. Now, it is our right to feel so. It is their right to convince us, to tell us. It's like people in a relationship. If you feel your partner is not doing something and you know,
Harry needs.
and if you feel your partner is not doing something and you are complaining about it, you expect your partner to adjust. But if your partner is telling you that this is the truth and you refuse to accept your partner's truth, then it's on you. It's not on your partner until you find an evidence that your partner, you know, a verifiable one to say your partner. But for benefit of that, I accept. So in this case, we as the public, we can only give information. It is the police that has the power, the technology, the training to crystallize our information and turn it to evidences for them to get the criminal. But to say until we have evidence, if we have evidence, so why do we go to police? If we have evidence, we should go to court straight now and say, court, we have evidence. My lord, I will tell our lawyer, make sure the court aligns with the evidence act. And we go to court. Why do we need police? That is what it means. But we need police. Let them do their job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aristocrat. The last question I want to put across to you is this. Do you personally think Wunmi is a prime suspect? And how and why? Two,
Now,
why is it that there is so much heat on Wunmi and there is less heat on the other people in the house, like Adura, Darusha, and his remaining crew? That's all.
you see, this is what I'm going to say. You see, in relationships, once you have relationship, either parent-children relationship, platonic relationship, workspace relationship, or love affair relationship, the closest that is regarded as the closest partner in situations like this has a lot of burden of responsibilities. And because they have that burden of responsibility, people expect a lot from them to help them to unravel the cause of death of anyone. Now, if these persons or these subjects are not forthcoming with what will give clarity to what happened, people begin to suspect them. And I think that is the position Wunmi is. If, for example, they said it was a nurse that injected him, that he died, the question would be, you took him to the hospital and they pronounced him brought in dead, and they advised you to take him to the morgue. You took him to another hospital. They told you the same thing. In the course of doing that, even when you know that he was lifeless, did you call the security in your estate to apprehend the nurse and take the nurse to the nearest police station? Pending the time, maybe you took the person to hospital and you are able to resuscitate the person. Did you do that? That is first question. If you did not do that, that is a question mark. I will not say she's guilty, but I will give some pointer which will help everybody. Now, that is a question mark. Has the closest, the wife, as it were, the mother of his child, the person that you slept in the same room and he was sick and all those things happen, when the doctor advised you to take him to the morgue, why didn't you take him to the morgue? Why didn't you ask the doctor, okay, if you're taking him to the morgue, can you keep him here for 24 hours before we take him to the morgue so that we pay for a room? They will. They'll keep him there. Will they give you document to say they are the one that certified that he was there? They will. And you cannot, if they now tell you, you can take it to morgue alone or go to police station, you go to police station. A police officer will follow you to the hospital and see that the person was in the hospital. They give you the statement. Follow the, you can't tell me because you are bereaved, your mind shut down. If your mind shut down, you should not see where you are going. Now, you took the body, you took it home. And when you took it home, a lot of people came to the scene, which means you have time to tell the world that he was dead. You had time to announce it to his associate. Everybody were in his compound coming to say he was dead. Is that not suspicious? Were you not supposed to take him to hospital? And you are not an old school. You are not a 70-year-old, 90-year-old, 60-year-old person that might think we go the natural, we go the Abba way. You are a Gen Z. So why did you apply your Gen Z law? And you are living in a urban city, urban area of the city. where you understand the importance of medical institution. So another question mark. And things that happened thereafter, utterances, etc. Another question mark. And after you buried the guy, and you guys now began another fiasco. Your own sister came out accusing, casting aspersion on the father of the disease. And you acted as if you were not part of the scene. But from the time he was carried in the ambulance till you got to Ikorodu, you were part of them. The wife. You were at the morgue. You saw everything that happened. You saw the coffin. You saw everything. Why didn't you object? Why don't you say that as the wife, I put my feet down, he must stay in the mortuary? Okay, the mortuary rejected him. Let's go back to police station. Why didn't you, if it doesn't about LRS, mo, we're very sure, what poko mini, tis not poko mi, ọlọ́pàá gbọ́dọ̀ rí ṣẹlẹ̀. Why don't you put your feet down? Why should it be after he's dead? That is when you are now making noise. People are fighting for you. Are you fighting at the right time? Or you are fighting at the late time? Why should it be the public that need to shout for him to be exhumed? Were you not the one that had the primary responsibility to have spoken to the authority for his body since you suspected he was killed? You see, these are questions. I'm not even talking about things that happen.
Oh, I guess we kind
Yeah,
of
oh yes, you have lost the signal.
you're gonna lose the signal. Okay, it's back.
Hello. So for me,
Continue, sir.
why would you come out and tell people that if you know what my father-in-law has done, you will stone him to death? No, you don't need that. Everybody's grieving. So she has a primary responsibility as the wife and the mother of his child to ensure that someone injected my husband. Or let's put the assumption, someone fought with my husband when we went out, and that led to his death. It is not the public that should have called the attention of the authority to you. It is you. If not you, his brother was in the house. His cousin or nephew was in the house, or uncle. He's feeding all of you, and your breadwinner died like that, and none of you fought a week after he was buried to ensure this thing changed. What are we talking about? If the state did not exhume this body, do you think we will be where we are? They would have been doing investigation blindly. They would have. It is the exhumption of this body by the state that scattered the plan. Because I believe the plan was to be casting aspersion on different people that say, now you cause am, now you cause am, now you cause am. If you know, say now you cause am, why the person who injected the body in the first place, no day police custody, saying, oh, she was a quack nurse in the first place. Oh, she injected. Even if he had injury, does that mean you should kill him? If he had injury, can't you take him to a proper hospital for his injury to be treated so that he will be alive? At the end of the day, he will only have infection. Do you now have to bring a quack nurse to inject him and kill him, and you did not even, create scene and take the person to police station? So for me, these are questions. So it is left for people supporting or not supporting to look at the facts and ask the vital questions before we get to paternity or no paternity, before we get to what Mohbad sang about or not sang about. The beginning were things done right. If they are not done right, you cannot begin to bring all those things to support your position. And this is what has happened. If there is no space on the wall, a lizard cannot penetrate. That is a space on the wall. You created the room. So deal with it. That is what I will say. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Let me just quickly say, the Aristocrat, I think I like your brilliant analysis, and I like all the angles you have exposed us to. I just want to digress a little bit, and I think our system has actually failed us. Because, like in a sane climb, if I take a dead body to the hospital the first thing the hospital will do after certifying that body dead, they will call a police on that spot in a sane crime. In a sane crime also, if the wife refused to call the police, people around who witness that death, in order to save themselves from any form of complicity, they will usually call the police. But you know why a lot of them will not call the police? Because even the person who calls the police on something he sees happening will be indicted by the police. It has happened to me, and it has happened to a lot of us. Probably we saw a crime scene, and we're trying to call the police, and the next thing they turn you to a witness of what you are just trying to report. That's number two. Then number three is the fact that I think the police actually probably know what happened to Mohbad in their investigation. But because the issue have been fractalized and sectionalized and a lot of factions have happened, this one is team A, team B, team C. In order not to cause a public uproar, they will say, okay, let's make all the whole party see themselves as win-win, lose-lose. And we're going to say nothing happened to this guy. Because if they say, okay, it is this person that did it, the other team will attack this person. If they say this is the person that did it, the other team will attack this person. So I think going forward, when we have issues like this, instead of us, any of those taking opinion to take side, we should all, first of all, go for a common front and ask for who exactly is involved. We don't want to know if it is his wife or this brother or the father or anything. Once we have established, hold on, sir. Once we have established that, then we cannot start attacking the person who is being indicted. But the system has failed us. We agreed, and those of us who are analysts ourselves, including me, we have also failed this case to make the police now hide under something to actually now kill this case, Senator, which I believe the court will help us out.
I understand. I mean, Senator, okay, the police should not do investigation and establish the truth because they don't want to because they don't want fracas. I mean, bro, you bust my head, though. I don't understand. Okay,
I never said they don't want fracas. I said the issue has been fracalized to the extent we start pointing to different people. We start changing our narrative.
Because the police should be objective without making the investigation based on any form of fracas or not. Does fracas influence the police investigation or interrogation?
Senator, just forget that
part of it. I don't think that's a good submission at all.
Senator, just forget that you asked that one. Let's ask another one. Let's move to the next
police
one.
Police should take cognizance of fracas and don't do their job and then play games.
That is Nigerian police I'm talking about.
No. Police is police, either Nigerian or American or British.
If it is in America where I live,
that's what we're calling them to do. They should do their job.
There was a case where I live here. A prostitute was killed.
The police should be able to do their job.
Spot, condoned the area, sealed up everywhere, and took sample tests of your saliva of everybody in that vicinity. It was not even the suspect that called the police. It was just an eyewitness who said she suspect somebody is dead in that house. Within the next 5 minutes, the police were there.
No, that's not what we're talking about. You're saying, you're inferring that the police should...
I said in Nigerian setting. I said in Nigeria. Because I've seen it happen several times. Where a case is...
You cannot use fracas. You cannot use country.
Okay, sir. Look at this.
Senator, you can't use
SARS that just happened.
Hold on,
you know that the police...
Senator, you cannot use country.
The police would have indicted some people who killed innocent Nigerians, but they didn't make it public.
You cannot
Senator,
you can't use country, okay, or the.
Let's just move on.
You can't use the frailties or the weaknesses in the system to justify the police negligence. It's impossible. You think the police has their own job and they must do their job, and their job and their result that they put out should not be based on any consideration of fracas or not. And that's what we are asking them to do. They should come and do their job, and nobody should support the police for not coming out to do their job because of any fracas or not. The fracas is for the public. It has nothing to do with police duty. So that's what we're trying to say.
Thank you. Please, I would like to state...
Forget about the country. It might be America, it might be United States, it might be Nigeria or whatever. The thing is, the reasons why the police is not... We can't say the reasons police are not putting out the real stuff, real investigation just because that is fracas and they don't want fracas. That's why they didn't want to put the result out. That does not make any sense, man.
Okay.
I
Do you
mean,
think?
we're not in kindergarten now. I don't like the way you're talking, sir.
Yeah, okay. Hold on, sir. Do you think if this Mohbad died in US, do you think the way our Nigerian police handle this case is how it will be handled? Let's talk about that. That's why I said the system has failed us.
The reasons why the police did not do their job is not because of fracas. Okay, it's not because they want to pay attention to any form of fracas.
Senator, you are seeing the truth. You are just dodging from.
Okay, it's not because they're saying the fracas. There might be some kind of compromise, political compromise or some kind of high-level conspiracy by the police.
Can we not focus on Senator, please? Let's not focus on.
But just because they don't want to do their job,
if he has questions, let him ask.
They are taking.
If he has questions, he can ask.
It doesn't make any sense.
If he asks any question, let him ask. But this question is asking. We need to move on from it.
Okay, Mr. Titus. Okay, Naimoli, what's up?
I have a question to
I'd like you to pay attention to the question. No, I want to go off. I've been here since, I don't know, over many hours. I need to go off. So, Aristocrat, please pay attention. And Senator, so while we're all talking about all these things that the police are not, handling, recently Karimo came out saying Wunmi was about to travel out. In this case of homicide, was it appropriate? Because one of those people that says they are, Wunmi's friends, that they were both here earlier on the panel, and they were saying they've spoken to her and everything, claiming that she was meant to, like, they were given an instance that maybe she had already filled a visa form, she wanted to travel before, but after this incident happened, she chose to move the date forward. And I asked the question that why would you want to travel now? Why not even just cancel it? Let this justice be settled before you plan to travel. So I want to understand, during a case like this, is it appropriate for the prime suspects or the people or the wife or the brother or the sibling or anybody who was at the crime scene, is it okay for the person to leave the country? Then another thing I want to ask is, she confessed about 7 people were in the room. She didn't say it in her CTC, right? She has been saying every other thing, but this is in Sahara Reporters. Based on what I read, she said that there were 7 people with the nurse and Mohbad in the room when it was being injected. And I'm wondering, how come those 7 people weren't listed? Why haven't we seen their, testimonies? Because they need to testify. We need to have them at the court to be questioned. So what do you think about this? Because I'm just adding the parts where maybe the officers, I'm thinking that they might have failed. And I hope they are actually looking into it to correct themselves. So please, just
in the same climb, you see all those 7 people, if they have international passports, it will have been seized by now, and they will be under surveillance. So even Wunmi going to the airport to seek for probably a travel stuff, which was rejected, shouldn't have even come in place in the first place. And that's why I said the system keep failing us as citizens. Because if somebody dies within your vicinity, everybody, even your neighbor, becomes a suspect until it is established that, okay, you are free, you are prime, or you will be a star witness. But as it is today, like I said, I will still say it again, the police have indirectly concluded their investigation on this case and trying to wash their hands off and say, hey, we don't know who kills it. If you know who kills it, then you go ahead and do your own investigation and prosecute and follow up the case. So I think that's why I said the police and the system have failed us and they keep failing us. So what we need to do to look at how do we now strengthen the system so that we can get justice without even doing all this, going through all this long process of just looking for who killed somebody within 8 or 9 months, and every clues are being analyzed and exposed, and the police is looking the other way around as if they are not even existing.
It is the police that should come out and do their job. If you say that the police have somehow concluded an investigation, then it's their job to also make the investigation public, just as they made the preliminary report public, and to clear some of the misconceptions and errors that have been stated in the preliminary report. It is the job of the police to come out. And I don't think it's wise for us to come out and be making excuses for the police. They should do their job.
I'm telling you what is in reality in Nigeria of today. If I were to be elsewhere, I have confidence that I will get justice. Even if I am not a citizen of a country, example, US now, even if I'm just an ordinary person, if I call the cops, if you threaten me that I'm going to deal with you, I have confidence that if I call the cops today, in the next 5 minutes, they will arrive. But as a citizen of Nigeria, can I call the cops if somebody is even pointing gun at me? That's where we find ourselves today.
Of course, you can't call the police if someone
When
threatens
Mohbad
you.
wrote petition,
Someone,
it's because it is involving people that matters. That's why he died. He died down.
If someone points a gun at you or beats you or assaults you in public, it's a job to report to the police so that you can have a record of it. It's up to the police.
Can I attempt the question of the lovely lady? This is what I'm going to say. Wunmi is not a suspect in this matter, according to the police preliminary report. She is the complainant. Now, usually, when you have suspects and they are not in detention, there are conditions because police will tell them, please don't go out of the jurisdiction, and if you have to, please inform us. They always do that. Now, that is if you are a suspect, or they see that you have vital information to give, but they are not making you a suspect. If you are a suspect, you must be reporting. If you are on bail, you must be reporting at a certain day, at a certain time, for them to know that you are still around. And if you are sick, you will communicate such to them. That is how it is done. Now, talking about Wunmi will have traveled. Wunmi can travel. Wunmi is not a suspect. Wunmi is the complainant. But I think what she would do if she's to travel, she will inform the IPO that, hey, I need to travel. Oh, madam, why are you traveling? I have medical something, You can go, but they've been informed. They will tell her, give us the address of where you are going, give us your phone number. If we need to reach to you on this matter, we will, because she's a complainant. So Wunmi is in a category of a complainant, not a suspect or a potential suspect. The way this case is, it is only in people's analysis that they believe that she ought to be, if not a suspect, a potential suspect. So there is no law anywhere in the world that will say someone that is not a suspect or has a criminal case in court don't have the right to travel. Wunmi can travel from Lagos to anywhere in Nigeria. As long as she's still in Nigeria, no problem. Police will just want to reach out to her. Even a suspect, if a suspect has medical condition and they need to fly the suspect abroad, the suspect will tell the RPO and they will do what they have to do to save the person's life. They will grant it. But that is in such case. So we just have to understand that. What was the second question? I forgot.
Okay, so thank you very much, though. It was because of the kind of scene that happened. That was why I asked you the question, but I accepted what you said.
Yeah, what is your second question?
Is that she claimed that there were 7 people, according to her story in Sahara Reporters, that those 7 people were with Mohbad when Nurse was treating. And
yes.
She didn't mention 7. Talking about she and Adura, interswitching with fried rice and Mohbad.
All right.
So my question is this: that why haven't the police call her the 7 people? Please, can you mute? The 7 people. Sorry. So the 7 people that she stated that were with Mohbad when the nurse was treating, because we haven't seen their testimonies or their own interview. They should have been questioned. Why haven't the police done that? And do you think, reading all these things, they will be able to do that before the next citizen?
Now, this is what I'm going to say to this. Police said that they've interrogated about 26 people, possibly everybody in his house as at that time and other people. Now, if during their interrogation they did not establish any of them to be complicit in the death, there is no need for them to detain them or categorize them as suspects. Now, let's move to the inquest. if the state, that is the DPP, because the state is also there, and every other lawyers that come in this case, see the need that any of these other 7 people should be cross-examined, they are the one to apply to the court to say, we want A, B, C, D, who from the statement of the wife said they were present when the nurse was administering medication to him, to come and give us the account. So it is not the police that will say, go and give testimony. It is those who want to find out things that will demand from them. And I think lawyer Wahab Shitu, with the last thing I've heard, have made an application for a number of people to come and give their testimonies. So we hope possibly part of those people are there and they will be able to give information about what they know. But it is nobody's fault if ex people do not come to the inquest. It is the duty of the legal practitioners to request for witnesses that they feel they want to cross-examine or to give account of what happened. You understand? I hope I've been able to answer that.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. But anyway, that first one of the traveling thing, I remember there's an incident recently of a pastor that reported that, the wife even reported herself that she was going to commit suicide. And people are like on the case. And as people are like protesting, they're already restricting their no movement because now they need to investigate, because even the one who claimed to be the loved one could be the one that have done this stuff. But
yes. You see, that is a different case. You see, in this case, they've already established suspects. Suspects have been established. Yes, she's not a suspect. The wife is not a suspect in this case. She's a complainant. We go back to that video